Greetings, friends, and welcome to Captain Samuel's Space Doggos. Today we're talking about Voyage of the Space Beagle, and I've got this in this groovy old edition that's got two other A. VanVogt books in it, The World of Nole and Slan. So this is a fix-up novel that was published in novel form in 1950, and it's golden age science fiction. A crew of scientists aboard the eponymous Space Beagle cruise around space and encounter various alien life forms. They encounter a cat-like beast with tentacles and whiskers that can influence electromagnetic radiation, telepathic birds, an energy-devouring flame elemental, and a gaseous form of life that's made up of molecules that floats through the universe and can teleport other beings onto their ship. Now, the aliens come on board their ship because the scientists invite them on board, and then oftentimes they forget to turn on the screen that prevents aliens from teleporting onto the ship. A lot of the book is staff meetings where the scientists talk about how to best counter the aliens, and the ship is also run as a democracy. So there's a lot of politics and philosophy about how best to run a starship or a government. And not everybody on the ship gets along in this story, and oftentimes there's leaders who make decisions that cost lives because they don't want to admit that they're wrong. And one of the crew members, named Grosvenor, is trained in a new science called Nexialism. Now, Nexialism is a holistic science that incorporates all other scientific bodies of knowledge into one, and also uses advanced psychological techniques like hypnotism or subliminal messaging to help people learn information while they sleep. And so basically, as a result of Grosvenor's advanced training in Nexialism, he pretty much immediately comes to the correct conclusion for how to save the ship and stop these aliens. And the people that are in charge don't like that, and they often ignore this guy because they're like, Nexialism, what's that? Who cares? Who are you? You're not a high-ranking guy. But after they ignore him, they find out the hard way multiple times that, oops, we should have listened to this guy. So things eventually come to a crisis toward the end of the book, where they meet an alien that is so powerful it could destroy the universe. And Grosvenor decides that he's tired of the politics of people who are too insecure to make the right decision or admit they're wrong. He's tired of the bumbling of his less highly trained crewmates, and he takes some drastic action with his technology superpowers to save the day at the end. So that's the synopsis of the book. In terms of what I liked and didn't like about the book, well, to be honest, although I've heard that this book is a classic, it kind of got off to a rough start for me. I thought it was silly that all of these highly advanced intelligent scientists just decided to let this dangerous-looking, gigantic cat alien with needles on its face for whiskers and all these tentacles growing out of its shoulders, that they would just invite this thing to just walk onto their starship. And then after it's on the starship and crew members start getting devoured, nobody immediately puts two and two together and says, oh, it's the cat alien killing everybody. They have all these meetings to figure out, I wonder how, these guys are getting killed. Golly gee, what could it be? When it's obvious that, it's the cat creature killing everybody. And the Nexialist does point that out. So maybe that was a plot point to try to show that these guys are a little bit goofy and in need of the Nexialist's quick decision making. A lot of the staff meetings about the nuances of electromagnetic radiation or the composition of certain metals also didn't hold my attention. There's kind of a lot of scientific 1950s babble in the book that got a bit old after a while. I'll also say that some of the book's language was antiquated and caused unintentional humor. So the first alien they meet is this cat-like being, and as a nickname, the scientists call it Pussy. Now, I might have been able to get past that without having a chuckle, but the weapons the scientists also used are called vibrators. And so when you've got sections of the book where the scientists are talking about a more effective way to fight pussy because the vibrators aren't working was just really silly, and maybe I'm just immature, but it kind of distracted from the story and gave me an immature chuckle. Who knows? Maybe VanVogt did that on purpose. I don't know if that was slang that meant what it means today in the 1950s. I know a lot of these pulp writers also included lurid things in their books to try to help them sell, and a little sex appeal to things. So who knows? Maybe that was some intentional humor on his part, but probably not. I've read other books by him, and he hasn't really done anything like that in weapon shops or the weapon makers. But anyways, after the book kind of got off to a rough, silly start for me, it really improved. I was able to take the other aliens more seriously, and it became a plot point that the other scientists repeatedly make foolish mistakes because they're too proud to admit that they're wrong and that the science of Nexialism is a better way to go about doing things. My favorite part of the book actually wasn't the aliens, it was the philosophy and political drama between the characters. There's some prescient remarks about how people would rather follow a tough guy leader who makes terrible decisions than they would follow a humble, calm leader who makes really good decisions. And I also appreciated how Grosvenor, the Nexialist, eventually just decides, he's had enough of the bungling of his fellow scientists and being blown off by them to step in and single-handedly save the universe. And there's some great dialogue at the end about whether or not he did the right thing. Should he have respected the autonomy of his crewmates to make bad decisions, even if it cost the lives of everyone in the universe, because they didn't stop this alien? Or did he do the right thing by using his special psychological techniques to force everyone to make good decisions that benefit everybody? So there was a really interesting philosophical debate at the end there about autonomy and that thing that Spock says, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Really good stuff. This was a deep book that I enjoyed a lot. So there is a reason that The Voyage of the Space Beagle is a Golden Age classic, and overall I did enjoy it, and I give it 4 stars. Thanks for watching.